My October TBR is 2,090 something pages, which is a lot of pages for me. It's October 2nd, and I'm already behind. Hey bookworms, in case you're new here, my name is Kat and this is Katie Reads Books, and I am announcing my participation in GothTober this year, which is being hosted by Ladette M. I will link to her channel below. I'm going to try to do this in one take, so I'm sorry if it's really awful. Let me just go ahead and Hannah announced with this readathon that there are going to be 3 staples for any readathon that she hosts, and that is BAME author, disability rep, and LGBT rep. So the first book on my GothTober TBR is for my BAME author, and that is Ibram X. Kendi, a black author, and the book I will be reading is How to Be an Anti-Racist. This was on my September TBR as well, but it went back to the library before I could finish it. I finally got my physical copy, so I'm gonna finish it this month. This is high on the priority for finishing so that I can move on to another nonfiction. So there's that one. Now for my disability rep, I am still reading the X-Men comics. I've been reading through a volume since I think August. Have I really been on it since August? Yeah, because I did it for Fuckathon. So I've been reading through it since August, but it's several issues of the X-Men comics in like a volume. I don't have the bound volume. I'm reading it on Comixology, but I am counting that for my disability rep because of Professor Xavier. My LGBT rep is Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and that, I will say it's a little bit of a stretch, but it mentions in the the synopsis on the back of the book that Danny Brown, it alludes to the fact that she has been in relationships with both men and women, and though I haven't read the book yet, I was excited to read that. So that I'm counting that for my LGBT rep, and this is also going to count for the prompt of foreign country for the GothTober readathon because it is set in England and I am in the US. Take a Hint, Danny Brown is the second book in the Brown sisters. I'm guessing it's going to be a trilogy since there's 3 sisters by Talia Hibbert, and this book follows Danny Brown, who is, I think, the older sister of Chloe Brown, who is the female protagonist for the first book. And the male protagonist for this book's name is Zaf, I think is how you would pronounce that. Clearly it's a romance novel, and Talia Hibbert can write the hell out of some steamy romance, so I'm excited for that one. Hannah has a prompt on her readathon called Gray Morality. For that, I will be finishing Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. Again, if you've been here, you know I've been doing this for a while. I've been really just trying to claw my way up through this Elderlingalong thing. I came in behind, and I've been behind, and I'm getting there. I'm so close, and if I really just dedicate to myself to it, I could be caught up by the end of October. Then again, I think I've been saying that since August as well, so grain of salt. Anyway, I'm using this for Gray Morality because Fitz is someone who, since he comes from such a difficult background and he had an interesting upbringing, I do consider him morally gray because while he has a lot of loyalty, it's not necessarily to politics or morality as much as it is to the people who were there for him as he was growing up. So I consider him morally gray. I might have that wrong. If you think I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. Maybe you can educate me on something. I think I just got to the 200 page mark. Yeah, 206 in this. As you can see, I have tabbed out what I need to read. I should get it done in 10 days as long as I stay on top of it. Also for the Elderlingalong, and then another book that I was able to fit into the GothTober prompts. And another book that I was able to fit into the GothTober prompts is Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. This was actually the first book by Robin Hobb that I ever picked up, but I listened to about half of it, like a third of it, on audiobook from the library because I was looking up books with ships and magic to research a high fiction that I would like to write, high fantasy that I would like to write at some point. And this one came up, and so I listened to most of it, and it just sort of fell off my radar, but then whenever I saw that Becca was doing the Elderlingalong, I was like, oh, hey, I can, get back to it. So I'm on page 279 of this one. I have not tabbed it out. I don't know if I'm going to tab it out. I think I might just book it through it as fast as I can. Anyway, this is for the prompt of a female protagonist. Ship of Magic mainly follows the character Althea, and she is the daughter of a captain of a ship, and she was supposed to get this ship and ended up not getting the ship due to some interfamilial politics, and also the politics surrounding Bingtown, where Althea is from. The ship that she was supposed to get is a live ship, and the live ship are ships that are made from wizard wood, which is magic and can have it, like, it cures into having a soul. So she was supposed to get this ship, this live ship, from her father, and ended up not. And so we are following that, as well as her cousin Wintry, Wintro, as well as her cousin Wintro, who was brought up in something similar to monkhood or priesthood, and then was brought home for his grandfather's death, Althea's father's death. Wintro was brought home for the funeral, and then is sort of captured by his biological father into being a sailor instead of going back to the priesthood or to the monkhood. And then the third character, Kenneth, who we follow, is a pirate leader and seems very disturbed. In previous prompts, I haven't done a lot of explanation on because I feel like they're pretty self-explanatory. LGBT, BAME, author representation, and foreign country, and female protagonist, and gray morality. Those are all self-explanatory, I think. So this last one that I'm nailing for the GothTober readathon is the lie prompt, and it's, you have to have lie, liar, lying on the cover of the book. And I'm excited to say that I'll be reading Magic for Liars this month. I got this as part of a Goodreads giveaway, which surprised me because the thing that I hear about Goodreads giveaways is that they're not worth doing, but I just did it on a whim, and I got this one, and it's a good one to have gotten, by Sarah Gailey. It's published by Tor. I love Tor. I'm also using this for the red prompt, which was to have red on the cover of the book. Magic is for Liars by Sarah Gailey is, to my knowledge, from what I've read from the synopsis, like, a long time ago, there are two sisters. One of them is an investigator, or private eye, and her sister has magic. The private eye sister does not have magic, and she's been, like, begrudgingly okay with that over the years. And then her sister runs into a spot of trouble and needs her help with something, and therefore they kind of get into a tussle. I don't really know much more of it than that. It sounds like probably urban fantasy, which I enjoy and I'm intrigued by. And that cover, I mean, you can't walk by this book and not look at it. I mean, the final book on my TBR for this month is Words of Radiance. I am, of course, reading this following Way of Kings, which we finished last month with the Sanderfan Readalong, and we will be hosting the live discussion for that on October 3rd. I am really itching to get back into this world. I did not want to leave. Even after 1,200 pages, I did not want to leave this world once I was there. I am excited to get back in and see what Kaladin is up to and how they're going to take Sadeas down because he's such an asshole. I'm really excited to see where Kaladin is, and how he advances and how Dalinar's story winds up, it's really hard to give a synopsis of Stormlight Archive anyway, but it's even harder to give a synopsis on the second book because there's so much build up from the first book that trying to give a synopsis, I think, would be spoilery as fuck. So it's a really cool fantasy world based in the Cosmere. There's magic that has to do with these things called Spren that sort of just exist as part of nature, and there's also this thing called Stormlight, which certain people can control, and there are shard blades, which can cut through stone, but don't cut through human flesh, they just burn away your soul. Kaladin has been a slave for the better part of what we've seen from him after coming from a background of having been a surgeon's apprentice. Dalinar is a military leader who has had a very interesting romance arc. Who are our other point of view people? We've got Dalinar. Oh, Shallan. I actually really like the way Shallan ended up by the end of book 1. Casey from over at Casey's Book, who is one of the co-hosts for this readathon, or this read-along. My other co-host is Sammy. You can find her at Sammy the Book Dragon over on Instagram, sammy.the.book.dragon. There you go. Casey told me that I was going to end up falling in love with Shallan, and I did. I totally did. Her and Yasna are going to be a really fun pair to watch, kind of take apart these little mysteries that they've uncovered. And there was such a huge reveal at the end of Way of Kings. Okay, stop it. I have to save this shit for the discussion, and this is super spoilery, but read the thing. Read the thing. It's worth the 1,200 pages, I promise you. So, Words of Radiance is not going to fit any of the prompts for GothTober, and if you have seen the GothTober announcement video, then you'll know that there are several prompts that I have missed, and if you have not seen it, then I will link it to you at the link. And if you have not seen it, then I will put it at the end of the video for you so that you can see it. Now, the ones that I have... Oh, wait. Before I talk about the ones that I missed, there's a fun one for this that I really appreciated, which was to watch a vampire TV show. And I've been watching through Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I'll be continuing that throughout October to fulfill that prompt for the GothTober readathon. So, with that said, the ones that I'm probably not going to nail are the oldest book on your shelf. The oldest book on my shelf is technically an ebook, and it's called In Times Like These by Nathan Van Coops. And I think I got it as like a free book as part of a newsletter at one point, and it just sort of got buried in my Kindle. It was the oldest book that I bought on my Kindle. It's not that the synopsis doesn't sound interesting, it's just sounding like something that I don't necessarily want to prioritize right now. I think it's kind of, it's time travel-y, so it's sci-fi, and I am trying to read more sci-fi, but the thing is, once I added up all the pages for this TBR, it was like, there's no way I can add more. I can't do all the prompts. Just is not happening, and I've got to do, I really want to do the Elderlingalong, and I really need to keep up with the Sanderfan Readalong. So those are the books that I have to really prioritize. Anyway, I'm probably going to miss the oldest book on your shelf prompt. I am going to miss the bones prompt. I was kind of shocked to realize that I don't have any books with bone. I'm really sorry, my dog is walking up and down the stairs. I don't have any books with bones on the cover that I could find, and I don't have any books with bones in the title, I don't think. I looked before. I'm pretty sure there's nothing up there. Jezebel, go lay down. I also do not have any modern Gothic retellings that I'm aware of, which is a real shame. I need to get the Anne Rice books because I read Interview with a Vampire in high school and was really into it. And I think I would still enjoy, Lestat and her whole world. So I was kind of disappointed in myself for not already having that somewhere. My dog is killing me right An undead character, I have a lot of stuff with vampires in it right now. There might be a vampire in Magic for Liars. That also might be a really bizarre statement for me to make to people who have already read that book. Anyway, again, I just really didn't have the room on my TBR this month. And for the most part, aside from the 2 urban fantasy series that I have on my shelf, one by Kim Harrison and one by Kelly Armstrong, I'm not trying to read a whole lot of urban fantasy right now because I'm writing an urban fantasy, and whenever I read the thing that I'm writing, sometimes I can do it and intermingle it, but most of the time it just ends up like screwing with stuff. So I don't have one for undead character, and I don't have any dark academia. Like, I need to do more research on that genre, I guess, because I don't think I really even quite understand what it was or what it is. I mean, I would guess that it's like academy fiction, but dark academia, academia, dark macadamia nut. Oh wow. Okay. Anyway, I don't have any of that even on my radar. So if you've got suggestions for that, then let me know in the comments below. I'm going to stop rambling about this TBR because I feel like it's been very scatterbrained as per usual, cat day to day. But here we are. And if you have gotten this far, thank you so much for watching. I am on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Katie Reid Author. Please tell me what books of these you are reading and if you're participating in GothTober. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.